everybody, this is Brian.
And I'm Logan, and this is Tops.
Sup?
It's Bottoms.
Sup?
And this is Dribbles. Sup? Avocado. And Burger Cards. Hi, team. Happy Tuesday, my tantalizing tuna fish. I have a question for you. What is the best hand trap of the format? Ooh. Whether you're unsure of the answer or you answered the camera like Dora the Explorer, we're going to tell you anyway.
There are a lot of very good and acceptable answers. However, there is one that kind of stands out. It's been popping up in a lot of really good lists lately, and we've been testing it and seeing a ton of success with it.
This is a hand trap that really comes in and out of the format, so it's not really a surprise that it's really good right now, but it's extra good this format. Spicy. So in this video, not only are we going to tell you what the hand trap is, we're going to explain some really interesting interactions and, well, why it's so darn good this format.
But if you guys are not already a subscriber, feel free to go down and hit that subscribe button, throw this video a like.
And comment your favorite kind of sandwich.
Woo!
I said tuna fish and now I'm just thinking of sandwiches. Anyway, make sure you check out all the links in the description box down below. We got Discord, Patreon, Instagram, the whole shebang on there. Make sure you check out all of our links so you can interact with us a lot more and see more of the Sub Squad. So now that I've got you all subscribed and hungry, let's talk about what the actual best hand trap of the format is.
Y'all may actually know what this is because I've seen a ton of side deck play in the... It's DD Crow!
Oh, look who just flew on in to talk about how he's the best hand trap of the format. What a guy, coming in clutch.
So in order to talk about the best hand trap of the format, we need to probably talk about why it's the best hand trap and what decks it hits. So in our opinion, there's a lot of decks running around right now. Even though this format seems super degenerate, it isn't really because it's super diverse. There's a ton of decks out there. We've got the Bird deck, we've got Sword Soul, PK can play, Drytron is still playing, Dragon Link is still able to compete. We've got a ton of different like rogue decks, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good decks this format. I actually think this format's really diverse and fair and healthy, but that's a whole different topic for a whole different section of our channel. But DD Crow is actually one of those hand traps this format that deals with literally almost every deck.
Yeah.
Almost. I can't say everything because there'll be that one person in the comments that's like, actually, it doesn't interfere with my tier 17 deck. So no, it doesn't interfere with you, but it interferes with the ones that are, well, playing.
So as we said, it does cover almost every deck. One of the decks that doesn't touch that much is the Sword Soul matchup. Sword Soul is actually a very strong deck. Yeah. You should probably be citing other things for that. For what it's worth, later on this week, we'll be doing a side deck video for all the greatest cards that you can be and should be citing, or at least thinking about for your deck. But Sword Soul, the only thing it kind of really hits is the Tenyu stuff, and let's be honest, you're not really trying to hit that stuff. You're trying to break their board instead of, you know, stop them from setting one.
And if you DD Crow their stuff anyway, especially if they're using the Tenyus, they can just get it back with the Tenyus. So
doesn't matter. Yeah, you're helping them.
Yeah.
However, I would argue the best deck in the format is the Bird deck. This deck is like really crazy. Droll actually is like an FTK against this deck. However, DD Crow can be really, really detrimental to their strategy because if you activate DD Crow and chain to the Barrel Canary hitting the target, kind of hurts the deck and the turn a lot.
Have you ever seen a crow eat a canary? Me neither. Let's keep it that way. A lot of decks are starting to side board breaking cards, so if you are one of those decks siding those cards and trying to go second, they would like to put Oath in the graveyard, which, you know, stops those board breaking cards. So if you DD Crow the Oath before they get the chance to, you know, use it, you can then play your board breaking cards and continue to play. So big brain, hit the Oath.
Another really popular deck, it's seeing a little bit more play, especially now with the Brave token engine right around the corner, is Phantom Knights. Phantom Knights is one of those insane decks. It feels like it literally just never stops playing. Phantom Knights has a ton of plays. DD Crow is insane against PK. They literally just play in the graveyard. They play droplets going second, put all their cards in the graveyard. They're all extenders. If you're able to DD Crow, you know, like a Torn Scales when it attempts to activate, special summoning itself back out, they really, really rely on that extender. That is one of the main choke points of the deck. Really can stop them from popping off, and now you guys have to play through like one Fog Blade.
It's kind of hard to know what to really hit in PK because they do play so much extension and they literally can play through anything, Nibiru included. So if you also don't, you know, get the chance to hit the Torn Scales, you can also hit the Cherubini when it is in the graveyard because they try to special it back out in order to get into an Appaloosa much faster. So if you hit the Cherubini and banish it, it makes a little more effort for them to get into those Appo plays and stuff, but hit the Torn Scale.
It's also just really good to note too, as we said, a lot of different options when it comes to hitting things in PK. A lot of the times they're going to banish like a Fog Blade to bring back an extender. You can banish whatever the target is with that too. There's just so many different things that DD Crow is good with, especially in the Phantom Knight matchup.
Next up on the list of things we can 100% hit and ban for the rest of my life is Drytron. I hate this deck more than anything. I'm sorry if you play it. I just don't like the deck. It has nothing to do with you. When it comes to DD Crow, you have plenty of options. Again, it's like a lot of these decks are very graveyard centric this format, which is fine, but DD Crow gets a lot of use and a lot of effort and a lot of, you know, value. Of course, the most obvious target in Drytron is to hit the Ben 10 because, well,
Yeah.
Bentan can't search. She ain't doing much else, is she?
Yeah.
And you could also hit any of the names. So
yeah, Gamma especially. Like Gamma in the graveyard is really strong. Gamma is like itself. And another one, another really, really good card to hit in the graveyard is the ritual spell.
Yes.
If you banish the ritual spell,
they can't keep adding it back.
Most of them only play one, so yikes.
Sag. The beautiful thing about DD Crow against Drytron is that you can literally hit any card. It's all 1-for-1 trades. It's all worth it.
Another really cool thing that DD Crow hits is the subscribe button, which is something y'all should be doing as well. Jokes aside though, DD Crow is actually a budget card, so you should be probably picking up a few copies as we're having this conversation.
You should subscribe just for the really effortless pun that was. You're welcome. Comedy.
And then as we said at the beginning of the video, there's a lot of rogue decks out there that are starting to see a ton of play and also seeing a lot of success. One of which is the Sky Striker DPE build.
Yeah.
Man, did they bring Engage back just so we could banish it out of the graveyard with a DD Crow.
In case you couldn't hear Brian mumbling, hit the Engage with DD Crow, or, you can hit Ray. They need that card, too.
A lot of Sky Striker decks have moved over to a very generic, very powerful engine. We'll talk about that at the end of the video because it is insane with DD Crow. Another rogue deck that I've actually been on a lot that I really like is the Live Twin or the Evil Twin deck. I think this deck puts up a ton of interaction between like popping cards, sending cards, hand traps, board breaking cards. It does it all. It is a very, very small engine, which means you can play a ton of different things. We do have a profile, so we'll go tag it somewhere in the corner. Feel free to go check it out. But on the second Link Monster, when they go to special back to make the Link 4, you just DD Crow the target and they pass their turn.
Yeah, it feels bad, man. Another seemingly obvious one that still needs addressing because god damn that deck doesn't go anywhere. It's Alistair Deck, one of my favorite decks that I've played. Wow, I really hate that I just said that. But anyway, moving on. You know what? If you DD Crow the Alistair when they go to activate invocation, golly, it's really hard for them to do anything.
A lot of the Alistair decks have dropped the Shaddoll package, but they are still relying on Winda as their #1 and only win condition because god forbid we learn how to play the game. In order to get to that, they have to activate Schism. Usually they are getting to the Schism package through the Dogmatica package, which means that there will typically be one Shaddoll monster in the graveyard if they played one different route, 2 different routes. So if you banish that Shaddoll monster, Winda's not coming out.
Uh-oh.
And as Logan said, when they activate Invocation, if you know that you can get through like a Macabre or a Purgatory or whatever it is, you just banish the Invocation out of graveyard and they don't get the Alistair back.
True. And then obviously saving the best for last, the largest concern that everyone has had for this format in particular because he's brand spanking new and can be DD Crowed for sure. It's Daddy Phoenix Enforcer. Woo! Big purple card, go burr. A lot of decks have dropped Dragoon in favor of Phoenix Enforcer because A, there's literally no bricks, and the bricks in the package actually help you draw cards and or extend, and you can play 3 Fusion Destiny because, you just play it last. It doesn't lock you until after you play it, so you just do all your stuff and you just activate Fusion Destiny. It's amazing. You get Phoenix Enforcer. He comes back every single standby phase. You do have to declare the effect after he's destroyed, so then you activate the effect in grave, and well, guess what? If you've got a DD Crow in hand for any of these decks that are playing this guy, just DD Crow it. Just whatever. Just get rid of it. Literally get rid of it before the standby phase.
It's also really good to note that if the DPE does actually trigger and resolve in the graveyard, come the draw phase, you DD Crow it. Standby phase, even though it is banished, it does still trigger. So your opponent now has to summon out either like the Dasher or the Celestial, which man, against Sky Striker, having a monster in your main monster zone, that's kind of fun.
So it's kind of also a quirky little way to screw your opponent over even more. Not only did you take their DPE from them, but now they have to summon Celestial or Dasher.
Yikes.
Obviously, it's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all hand trap. There are obviously tons of hand traps that you can play. You don't have to play DD Crow, but I think DD Crow is the most versatile this format. I know everyone's gonna say Infinite Impermanence and Nibiru are still very good, which they are, but I think DD Crow is one of those cards that comes in and out of formats, and when it comes in, it's extremely impactful. So I think this format, it just really shines and does really well and eats birds. But that's really it. We just kind of wanted to give our 2 cents on why we think DD Crow is super duper good this format. If you are not maining it or siding it, that's okay. Get some copies. I definitely recommend it in the side deck. You don't obviously have to main it by any stretch of the imagination. I'm playing it in most of my side decks.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really, really good.
It's just really good. You wait to see what your opponent's playing, side it in if you need it, and just hit the most impactful thing in their graveyard, which probably is DP. So if you weren't super sure on DD Crow this format, or you weren't sure on a hand trap that you should be siding or maining or whatever have you, depending on what deck you're playing, DD Crow is a great choice. It's super versatile, super strong, and probably the best 1-for-1 trade you can really get in the format. But let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you let me know what hand traps you are playing, if you're playing hand traps at all. But I hope this helped you at least a little bit. But that's all I got for you guys today. We love you. You matter. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye, team.
See y'all.